Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Can everybody hear me?
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Ooh, we got to turn that down. I guess that means the audio is coming through just nicely. All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for joining the live stream tonight. I know it's late for some of you, but some of you it might be early. So we're just going to take a minute before we open this up. We'll let some other people join in. It's a last-minute, spontaneous unboxing that we're deciding to do today. So we're going to take a look at 4 Suko figures, 4 of them. And we're going to do some variance comparison live here. So in the meantime, let's acknowledge some folks in the chat. Thanks for coming by, guys. The Cyber Kaiju, CW Studios, the Chaos Prime. Welcome. That's right. In a way, it's going over 8 different figures all in one stream, so that's going to be it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. We're going to go over that. We're not going to have any commentary from the other guys like Shinra Jira or Harold or anything. Uh-oh, we lost the camera. One second, guys. I don't know if you guys can still hear me, but we just lost the camera feed. Why did we lose the camera? Hold on a second. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. We had a technical glitch. I don't know what that was, but the camera went off and now it's back on again. So we're all set to go again. Ah, Parrot's account, welcome. Welcome. We're just kind of waiting for some other folks to jump into the stream. I know it's last minute, so I'm not expecting a huge turnout right now, but we'll just wait a couple minutes. We'll talk to people on the chat. Yeah, you know, Cyber Kaiju, we were originally, I had wanted to use this camera for streams the last time we did the S.H.MO unboxing, but for some reason it just really wasn't cooperating. It wasn't even showing video. So I was using my phone, and the phone just doesn't know how to handle my studio lighting. It just overexposed everything. So hopefully we'll be able to get this going for the whole stream. Let's see. Spidey Knight, welcome, sir. Yes. So just like S.H.MO, we've got 4 sets of Suko that we're going to go through today. And just for fun, this box right here that we've got, let's just kind of take a quick look at this box. So this is the box it came in. You know, you get 4 pieces, comes in an official from the distributor. So this is what they would look like if Bandai was getting them or other retailers directly from them. And if you guys want to see some scale, you know, we got S.H.MO right here. She only looks a little bit bigger because she's directly in front of the box, but here, I'll put her on top. There we go. There, that's more of an accurate comparison right there. Welcome, Evolved King. Welcome. All right. Just a couple more minutes, guys. Just 2 more minutes, and then we're going to start unboxing this guy. Until then, welcome, Godzilla guy. Welcome. Yes. So to answer the Cyber Kaiju, it does come with the alternate roaring head. So in case people aren't aware, I'm assuming that everybody is, but if you don't know, what they did was they split up the Kong heads throughout all of these releases to reward the, this is what they said, to reward the loyal customer, the folks that really want to collect the whole entire line. They're going to get a piece of that Kong head to complete the collection. So part of it's to encourage you to get the complete set instead of just picking and choosing, but I can see how that could rub some people the wrong way. But if you were planning on getting all 4 anyways, then guess what? You're in luck. You're going to get all 4. So this one's going to have the roaring head just with the silver tooth on it. And we'll take a good look at those today too. All right, let's get it started. We're going to do it. So let's get this box open here. Kind of already kind of pre-opened it a little bit just to make things a little bit quicker. Because I know you guys just want to see the figure. We're not here to just sit and yap the whole time, right? If the camera does go out, it might be because it's overheating. So I might have to go back and forth, but the stream won't end. If the stream, you see the webcam utility logo, just hang tight. I'll go back and fix that. And before, there we go. Look at that. That's how it ships from the manufacturer. If you're getting 4 pieces in there, got a little space. I think that the folks that I ordered this from, I think they did actually open this up. There was actually 5 or 6 sets inside of this. Yeah, I think there was. But they, the folks that sent this to me, they took 2 of them out because I only needed 4. I don't need 6. That's a bit overkill. Some would say that 4 is a bit overkill. I forgot to hit the record button. I'm going to record this stream on the computer as well while we're filming this, so that way when it's done and over with, we'll be able to upload it in a high resolution and you guys can rewatch it again from there. So here it is. Let's get these guys all out. Oh, they give us some Japanese Kit Kat. That's always fun. For those wanting to know, this is a sponsored video by a retailer that's over there in Japan. They are called Luna Park Store, also known as Premium Luna Park. They are the ones that helped get these over here. So I'm going to hold up their business card right there for everybody to see. So that's these guys right here, Premium Luna Park. So yeah, they're a great store. They've been really great when it comes to imports, especially for premium Bandai web exclusives. They came really, really quick. A business card figure, nice. Yeah, so for reference, these were released February 22nd in Japan. The way it works with middleman stores is that Premium Bandai has to ship it to them, and then they have to ship it to us, right? So if you were going to get any of these, just for the timeline, just so you guys can see it, came out the 22nd. They shipped this on the following Monday. So these released on Saturday. They shipped these on Monday. I got these on Thursday from Japan. So there we go. Look at that. We got all 4 of our Sukos right here. We're not going to waste any time, guys. We're going to just open them up in there. Oh, Burning 1995, how expensive is shipping? So their store is unique. They do a sort of flat rate depending on how many items you have. They give you only 2 shipping options. You can do EMS or FedEx Express, which is like it's like the lower tiered Federal International Express. So it's a little bit cheaper. But generally speaking, if you have 2 or less figures, it can range from 10,000 yen for EMS to 1,300 for FedEx. For this set right here, for 4 of them, it was 1,800 yen, or sorry, 18,000 yen for FedEx to get all 4 of these. So, maybe not for this set. It would be if you were just getting all of these. If you're going to get one of them, it probably would be significantly less. But if you wanted to save money like on Shimo, when these guys sent out Shimo, all the other websites were charging way more than what these guys were charging for shipping. So that actually worked out in my benefit right there. And for those who wanted to buy these off of me after that. By the way, these sets will be available except for one of them after the stream. If you guys are interested in, one of them has already been claimed already. So there's actually only 2 left after the stream. So if anybody's interested in taking these off of my hands, you are welcome to do so. You can just DM me through my social channels, either on Instagram, Facebook. Those are the best ones. All right, we're going to get started with the first one right here. I can, so King of Mars, welcome. I can guarantee you that these guys, they do, Suko does fit into Kong's hands. We've got some proof from people in Japan already making that pose. All right, here we go, guys. We're just going to take a look at one for now. So here's the box. Get a good look at all the sides. It's actually a pretty big size. I was expecting it to be a lot smaller, but that's due to Mothra being, you know, splayed out inside the box. So there's that for you. Yeah, you got the top right there. And we got the bottom. Important note, when you guys import, there's no warranty on these things. If you ever decide to import, that's part of the risk of importing, is that the customer service isn't really that favorable to what we're used to in the United States. So for example, if you order something from Amazon, you didn't like it, you can just return it willy-nilly, right? But with import orders, they're kind of final sales. So if you didn't like the paint on it, or say there's a joint that was loose and it's just too loose and you wanted to send it back, they'll likely tell you no, and they might offer you store credit. But in other instances, they actually might take it, but then you have to pay for return shipping and shipping back to them. The only way I've actually been successful in getting these things kind of covered is if the figure was factually actually, you know, very broken inside, out of the box, arrival on damage sort of thing. Especially if the shipping box had evidence of being destroyed, then they'll generally cover that. So, but anyways. So let's, you know what, I'm not going to get all these guys, you know what, just, we'll do it. Let's get them all opened up. I always open these up from the bottom, just in case I ever want to display it in the future. And you know what we're going to do? I'm going to zoom that camera in so that we can get a little bit closer for you guys. You don't get to see the rest of that set. There you go. All right. Okay, so let's get these guys out. Yeah, I'm really excited about this set. I'm really looking forward to it. So here you go. We have the manual. If you guys want to get a better look at the manual, it is available on my site. So you guys can go to the Suko Mothra page right there, and you can actually download a digital version just to get a good look at it. But this is the manual. It's 2-sided. It's not folded out of the box. It's actually interesting because there's more instruction on here than there was for the 2019 Mothra set. And I think it's due to feedback about people complaining about maybe how the paint was scratching while they were putting it on it. So there's a lot of warning messages saying, be careful, don't scratch your stuff. So let's take it out, let's take a look at it. Okay, so Suko's in his own little container right here. I've never actually seen this. Usually they stack them on top of one another, but this time they're stacked separately. So there's actually 2 pieces inside the box. So you got Suko here, and then you got Mothra there. So they're their own separate little pieces. Let me just put this away over here. All right, let's take a look. Should we do Mothra or Suko first, huh? You know what? Let's just get them all out, and then we'll decide what to look at first. Nice and easy, popped right open there. Mothra right out of the box. Nothing's falling off. That's always a good sign, right, guys? We got our stand piece right there. I'm going to just go to pre-connect these ahead of time. Comes with the stand right here. I'm going to be looking over at the chat while I'm doing this. Yeah, answer some of you guys' questions. Yeah, you know, think about, I'm responding to King of Mars right here about the price. If you break it down, you know, Little Godzilla, when Little Godzilla first came out, small figure, it was about $42, right? Even Godzilla Jr. was $50. And that was like back, you know, back in 2012, 2012. So to combine these figures, even though really Suko's just more of an accent piece. Oh, he's more than an accent piece. He's got a little bit more going for him than some other figures like the Dorats, right? Those are more like accent pieces. But there's a lot of accessories involved right here too. You know, that's a lot of extra plastic that they're putting into it, even though it's not on the figure. So that definitely adds into the price. Suko has a little plastic backing on the backside of him to protect him from shipping, but man, guys, look at that. This guy is tiny. Really, really tiny. Hopefully that's in focus. But yeah, super tiny. We got our Kong head. Kong head looks really good. I'm going to show you guys all this stuff later. I'm just taking them all out of the box. I'm going to do this for all four, so you're going to have to bear with me just a little bit. These are very small pieces, by the way, so definitely just dump them. I'll put them off to the side. Yeah, he's really tiny. We'll get some change and like compare him to like a quarter or something like that, because this dude is really small. All right. So let me get this Suko posed up right here for you guys, and then I'm just going to focus on opening up the rest of these. There's a lot of pieces involved, so it's not just a simple unlock. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble this stand. He comes with a very small stand right here to hold him up. This is for like long display. You know, if you need to display Suko for a long period of time, you're not going to touch him for a while, or you need a dynamic pose of some sort. That's what this little small pedestal is going to be used for. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for all of our Sukos for the point of this right here. So, but yeah, he is quite tiny indeed. There's different stands, by the way. This one is more of an arm that's hooked up to him right now. But there's also one that's more of a straight pedestal and with a smaller grip right there, so it's used for arms, that kind of thing. And then we got our Kong head right there, but I'm going to put this off to the side for now. We'll look at all the other heads in just a bit. Let's just get the rest of these all open. To answer Bernie 1995's question, so the way I'm not looking to make profit off of any of these, I just am getting the money back that I paid for it. So, you know, I'll calculate this later, but it's just whatever I paid divided by 4, and you know, that's what you pay. Sometimes it can be more expensive than MSRP in the United States because P-band items generally they sell for extra on top of whatever their MSRP is, because they're not sold directly, you know, to stores. The store has to buy them for you, so they have to make some sort of profit. So, but because the yen conversion is in our favor, it ends up not being too bad. I was trying to make a good deal so that these were, because originally when I was looking at it to buy them, it was going to cost, I think, if I were to divide it by 4 people, it was originally going to be like $145, and I was like, no way, bro. Nobody's going to buy these for $140 from me. But that's when Premium Luna Park came in, and they made a deal with me, and we were able to get it so that I can get rid of these for a little bit closer to the MSRP price. All right, Mothra number 2. intact. No issues there. I'm going to, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to take all this stuff out. So yes, to answer Spidey Knight, yes, Harold at Figure Mania, he, somebody, I think it was Kaukus Toys, he requested a photo of what that would look like compared to the Playmate Suko, and the Playmate Suko is definitely taller than this Suko. Like, this is a pretty small figure. It's not huge by any means. So let's get these guys out. I'm going to try and get these out as quick as I can for you. You know what? We're going to put all these guys on the stands. Yeah, you're welcome, Bernie 1995. Yeah, King of Mars. I love that comment right there. Yeah, it's crazy to think that he's actually taller, technically, than Kong from Skull Island during those events right there. But that's what these movies do sometimes. You lose the idea of, you know, scale right there. So you get too immersed with all of it, right? Man, these hands are really tiny. Really tiny. Try to keep these separated into groups. Wow. I was like, where's one of the hands? It's in the back of one of the heads. Let's get that back in there. Is that a mini Kong? Yes. It's definitely a mini Kong. Good quote from the movie. Or bad, just depends on your taste, I suppose, right? All right, we got 2 out of 2 open. Or 2 out of 4. Off to the side there. Okay. Let's get over to our next one here. Part of me wishes, not gonna lie, I secretly do like it when they do not include a lot of accessories because there's so much more to cover. So when you open up these boxes and it's just a bare bone figure, you can just get right to it. But with all these accessories, it's like, oh, I have to take a moment to take them all out. Let's get this out here. Hey, we got some sound effects. Honestly, quite excited for it. Yeah, so we're up right now, Bernie 1995. We're up to July releases. We still have the whole second half of the year, even though we know that Legion and King Ghidorah 1972 are coming. We still got a lot more surprises that are going to be hitting us. I know a lot of people are looking forward to another Destroya figure. Just be patient. Just be patient. It is the year of Burning Godzilla, so let's just wait and see what happens. Not a confirmation. Just wait. Got plenty of the year left to go. All right. Let's get these hooked up here. All right, we've got the third set open here. We're going to see how Mothra's inside the set here. Third Mothra. Nothing falling off. It's pretty intact, actually. So that's 3 for 3 right there. I know some people make a big deal about how if a figure can stay apart upon opening it out of the box, but I mean, logistics and shipping and stuff like that, if it can withstand it, great. But I don't think that's in my opinion, a good way to decide if a figure's good or not. If it can't hold itself together inside the shipping box after logistics. But these are pretty small guys. I wouldn't be surprised that if any of these pieces are actually falling off. I mean, Suko's pretty darn solid. Let's put the phone right over here. That's another pile. Let's see here. Wait, Suko's expression looks like he's staring at a giant mother. He might, yeah. I don't know why I have that in there. I've heard that Beast Glove is very delicate from Scar King for Kong. You know, the four Beast Gloves that I had and used when I was doing that stream, they were fine. I think the parts that are popping off, it is a soft plastic that is used for that area, and I don't think it's breaking necessarily on people, but it's popping out, and I know people, it can cause some issues, like frustration trying to get it back on there. But when I was handling those four, I did not experience any of those issues. So one more to go, guys. One more to go. One more to go. Oh, let me get them posed up here. Get this guy up here. All right. Yeah, just for kicks. You know, let's Shimo in there. Yeah. Shimo is it's quite bigger by comparison. Oh boy. But I love it. Oops. I knocked off a little hand right there. Okay. How do I have that set up right there? I need to turn that around. Remember this too, guys. If you ever use these stands in here, don't turn them once when they have been inserted. You know what? That's in. Because it's a hexagon kind of thing. Instead, just use like another stand piece in this case, and you can just go underneath that and you can just pop it out. Got that one in there really good. I faced it the wrong way. Might have to heat treat this one to get this out because I got it really stuck in there really good. Yeah, I'm not gonna mess with it right now. But so there's our next little Suko there. I'm gonna move these guys over. So we got our 4 Sukos there. Let's do our last one. Oh yeah, you remember at the very beginning of the stream, I showed you guys the Kit Kat bar? The Kit Kat bar is the same size as Suko. And this is a Japanese one, so it's actually a lot smaller than the American ones. Last one, and we can finally get some close-up shots on these guys. Remember to put those manuals back in there later. All right, taking out Mothra. Number 4, there she is. She's good, she's connected, nothing falling off. Pretty sturdy figure, actually. Let's go here. Get that in there. I'm assembling these little pieces for the stands right now because I'm trying to get that so that it's just a little bit easier to get things going for everybody. All right, last Suko. Last Suko. put this on the correct direction this time. Yeah, I don't know if I think I got distracted when I was trying to pull this out, but the thing is that when you guys put these in, it's a hexagon kind of thing, so it's not really meant to be twisted. So if you twist it, you will break the stand when it's inserted. So this is let's make a little bit more room. We're right out of room there. There's our fourth Suko right there. Look at that. You know what? I just realized. So dumb. Could have just done it like this. There we go. There we go. Just change the top messages to, there we go. I had everything organized at top messages. Now it's by all messages, so I should be able to see them in order. Okay, we're almost done, guys. Just the last part right here. Yeah, Suko's hands are super tiny. Make sure to have a dedicated spot to store this stuff because you will lose these hands. They're so small. All right. That's it. We made it. We've got all 4 unboxed. I feel like I'm at the factory right now packaging these things up. Okay. Here we go. So I'm going to just get on the other side of the camera because I think it's easier for me to manipulate and show you guys those. Plus the camera won't be just focusing on me the entire time. So let me just get on the other side there. And then we'll take a look at everything. We'll get a little bit closer. There it is. So I'm going to turn this a little bit there. We're going to do Suko. We'll go more in depth with Suko last because he's got so many parts. We'll do Mothra first after this little pan by, though. So here's Suko out of the box. It's not bad. I mean, just off the bat, I'm looking at them. It's kind of hard to see the variance because the figures are so small, so I think we'll definitely be able to see what the variance looks like when I do my other photography. King of Mars writes, if you had to choose any previously released Godzilla to get a version similar to 1954, 70th anniversary, and Burning Godzilla, which one would you choose? I don't know. I mean, the black and white Godzilla 1954 is great, and if you were to choose the Burning Godzilla one, I think the original is better than the Ultimate. I don't like the wet look of the Ultimate one, but that's just my preference. Suko does come with other heads. We will put them on Parrot's account. We will put them on. Just it comes out of the box with the a little bit more of an upset looking face. Oh, I might be too close for the focus there. There. Yeah. It's this is like the, I wouldn't say that this is the neutral face. This is more of the afraid expression. The neutral face is actually one of the extra ones that are packaged in there. So let's see if I can get a quarter out. I want to just show you guys the scale. So just for everyone's reference, you know, that's a quarter. That's a quarter right there, in the size of Suko. And for this small of a figure, here's the thing, we have to get close to it, right? If you want to see the details, we have to get close to it. So there might not be like the sharpest detail for such a small little figure, right? But yeah, it's Woo, look at that size. Yeah, so pretty small. And you think that's small. Wait until we compare that quarter to Mothra there. Okay, so let's move these Sukos out of the way. We're going to get Mothra in frame here. I'm going to see if I can actually do this where I don't have to have my hands in the shot. So I'm going to go ahead and do this on camera so you guys can see it. We're gonna go ahead and hook this up. The manual wants you to hook this piece up underneath, but what I've done with the 2019 Mothra figure is I've actually hooked it from the top, just so that the stand isn't in the way. So there it is. I think that they might have changed the way that that grip looks. I'm going to have to look at the 2019 figure, but I think that the connector might be different. It's been a while since I looked at it. Okay, so this will work. So here is our 2019 Mothra, or sorry, 2024 Mothra. Look at that. So, you know, a lot of you guys might have questions like, did they use a CGI file for this figure? They did not. This figure is recycled. The sculpt-wise, it's recycled from the 2019 figure. Something that they did include from the movie, though, is the wing pattern. The wing pattern is actually sourced from the movie. And it's not painted on, it's a decal. It's been printed on there. So that's why it looks so accurate. But yeah, so they've got some, looks like some dry brushing on there on the chest too. Look at that. Or maybe it's just reflection. I think it's reflection, actually. Remember I said I was going to bring that quarter in the shot? Yeah. So again, like a lot of people, I know in the past about the 2019 Mothra, they rag on the sculpt, but not having so many details. But, you know, I mean, she's just so small to begin with. And when you're dealing with plastic molding, yeah, so that's directly side by side. Like, that's how big Mothra is. She's very tiny. Very, very, very tiny. So, let's look at some questions here. You know what? I've looked at my servers with the volume. The volume actually is set as high as it can go on my system, so you may want to look at your end over there. Maybe something's not turned up. If anybody else thinks that it's low, please let me know in the chat right now, because according to all my system, it's looking good right now. So yeah, let's turn her around. Let's look at the back of the wings here. Look at that. Yeah, this stand has got a really good grip. I remember having a little bit of some issues with the previous one. The wings do have a very glossy coating to them. But depending on your light source, you know, it may look, you know, you can see I have a lot of light reflection right there, but if we just angle it just right, you know, you can see a lot of those details pop. Let's get as close as we can before, yep, that's as close as I can get with this camera. Yeah, I really dig the way she looks. All right, let's look at another Mothra here. We're gonna go ahead and put this one on the stand, and I'll hook these up the other way that I do. We'll go over things like articulation in a bit. So let me just get this hooked up here. I'm gonna hook this one up the way I do it with the 2019 version. Let's see how if this will work. I think this stand piece is new, a new design though, because I don't seem to remember having this kind of clearance before on this. Yeah, you know what? I think this is a new piece. Yeah. because I know that I can flip that piece on the other 2019 figure, but this one is not going to happen. So I think they did change this so it's not reversible. All right, so here's the second one. Here's our second Mothra. She looks great. And the wing pattern right there. I'm looking at the wing decals because when it comes to that, you know, it could decals. You know, sometimes if it's done by machine, it may not print lined up 100%. It's so hard to tell on such a figure this big, though. Let's kind of move some of these out of the way. We didn't really look at that. Yeah, look at that down there. The underside. Yeah. It's a little bit lighter on the butt end of this one right here. Not bad. I'm going to go ahead and get this one up on that stand. Let me just turn this around so that, oops. I didn't have that pushed all the way down. I was trying to do it the other direction. Gotta angle that there. So there's our Mothras. Let's look at the third Mothra here. Yeah, I gotta say, like, it's fitting the stand piece on the figure this time around is not as cumbersome as the 2019 version, so that is a pleasant surprise. Let's open up the wings a little bit for this third one. Let's move. It's very important. The instructions say when you guys are moving these legs, it's very important that you don't move them from here. They want you to get as close to the base as possible. So it's probably more advisable to take it off the stand first and position those legs. Especially if there might be dry paint issues. You don't want to rip off these guys because they're just very, very soft plastic. So, but yeah. She looks good. Just off the bat, you know, if we're talking about getting into the details of the paint, there's not really much, there's no real weathering on the actual figure itself, on the body, main body right there. If you wanted to bring out some of these details, you can get some black wash off of Amazon and you can just wipe that down and that'll bring out some of those details. Yeah, it looks great. Interesting. I'm gonna get a mic check. Everybody, is the mic okay? Are you guys hearing me all right? Because we got somebody in the chat saying that it's not so loud on their end. Yeah. Maybe switch to headphones. I don't know. Oh, I'll be right back, everybody. The camera just needs to be reset. Well, stay there. I'm not gone, I promise. I think that using this camera, it has an overheat protection feature, so it just turns off the viewfinder. So I just need to turn that back on, and we'll be back in just a second. In the meantime, I'm already going to get number 3 set up there. There we go. So there's our third Mothra figure. I'm going to set this one up just a wee bit higher there. All right, let's go over our last Mothra, and then we are going to go check out Suko. Out of the box, man, these guys, the stands are really, really tight. So here's our fourth one. I mean, there's so much going on, it's really hard to tell if there's really much variance. At least with the decal, you know, you can always expect, you know, 95% of the time the same type of paint job. There are some odds and ends, so like maybe the paint was running down the machine or something, or a little bit lighter fade. But, I mean, it looks really good. And you know what's interesting? I will say this. When I was at SDCC, when I was looking at this figure, the body was way more gold than what we're looking at right now. In fact, it just looked like the whole body was just gold. And I think that they decided to tone that down. Her legs are still got that little bit gold highlight going on there, but the main body, I think, I'm going to have to look at this. But I believe that what I recall was that she was definitely way more gold throughout the entire body. You know, she was staying gold. Stay gold. All right, let's get this over there. I'm going to bring these a little bit closer, and then we can take one last look at all four Mothras here. I'm going to put some of these facing the other direction so that you guys can get both angles there. If my cat was over here right now, I'd be having a heyday. All right, so here's all of our Mothras all in one shot. Looks good. All right, let's get into Suko. All right. Yes, it's a Mothra army. Actually, yeah, we're gonna get into Suko right now. All right, let's get this over to the next part. We're gonna move these guys out of the way. We'll go over articulation and everything in a minute. Let's just kind of take a look at Suko. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put on a different head of each of these figures so that we can see each head. So give me 1 second. Whew, the ball joints are really tiny. But it's got a nice click sound when it connects, so it's not too thin or anything like that. All right, so we got a roaring head here. We've got roaring head and a sad face. We're going to put on this is the neutral head that's going to go on next. So there's our neutral head. And then lastly, we'll put on the, I guess it's like another worried face. Maybe I'm labeling these wrong. One's like more of a frown, and then this one's more of an afraid face. When you guys put these heads on, you just need to make sure that ball joint, when you put this head on, just make sure that this ball joint right here is straight, because it can easily move to the left or right. It's pretty stiff, but if you just take off a head and it's off to the side, just straighten it out first before popping it in there. And then it's a nice satisfying pop sound. So, okay. We've got all of our Sukos with different heads right there. I'm going to do a nice close-up scan of them so you guys can get a good look at each of their facial expressions here. Okay. Yeah, Parrot's account, I agree. The Playmates one, the proportions are definitely like, what? Robo Lizard! Welcome, sir. Welcome. We just looked at Mothra, we didn't do any articulation or anything like that. We were just like looking at all four of them, and we're on to Suko now for anybody that's just joining. So let me move them a little bit closer there. Okay. So yeah, so this right here, this is more of our afraid Suko face right there. I really love the eyes on this. His eyes look really great. When I take closer up photos of them, we'll see if it's dot matrix or it's a decal, but I'm pretty sure it's dot matrix that they use for the eyes. Yeah, so I don't think this is, for anybody that's just joining, I don't think this is the neutral head. This is more of the afraid face right there. You can see the little line of teeth. Let's look over to the next one. We've got, this one is more of the neutral face right here. Yeah, that looks great. And then let's take a look at, so this is our worried face. Or no, frown face. I'm going to call this a frown face. It's got no smile compared to this one. This one's kind of like, I'm here, I'm a gangster. And then this one's like, oh, life decisions. I'm worried. Smug. Yeah, exactly. Smug Suko. Mothra. Yeah, Mothra, there's no change to the sculpt between 2019 and this one, so they're the same. Oh, do I really want to show this one to you guys? Oh, there it is. There's our roaring head. This one's not so bad. It's not so bad. I've seen some other ones online where the teeth paint's not all that great on the fangs. Oh, man. Right? Kaiser Goshi fan. Ah! Yes. Yeah, I don't know if I can get any closer without it being out of focus, but yeah, that's as good as my depth goes for this. Yeah. That face. I'm wondering how, I'm very curious to see how the other ones are going to turn out. So when we get to switching them all around, we'll take a look. Let me see. I'm just going to give myself a little quick teaser of how these all look. I mean, it's got sculpted teeth on there, that's for sure. I think my biggest complaint with the roaring head is that the fangs are too thick. And I think that just can't be helped too much because of how small the figure is and how they have to pull it out of the plastic molding. But I also don't like the pupil size. The pupil size of the roaring head is significantly smaller than the other pupils of the other figures, and I think that makes it look kind of possessed, maybe? Okay, I promise. No more nightmares for everybody, right? Okay, so let's just look at one Suko at a time here, and we'll save the roaring head for another day. So for everybody who's just joining right now, I'm going to show you guys the size of this figure. This is a quarter, USD quarter. This is how big this figure is. Yeah, it is not all that. Like the head is smaller than a quarter. So what is that? Like 1, 2, maybe 3.5 quarters. If you put maybe 5 nickels on a table in a line, that's how big this figure is. It's not that. You know what? I've got a ruler. Let's just double check that. The measurements on the website, the official website, say it's about 2.8 inches tall. So yeah, I mean, standing straight. It's just about that. So have him hold the quarter. We'll get into maybe when I change out the hands. I don't think these hands are really made for holding. These are kind of like the open hands more than the clutched ones. So that'd be dope though if I can do that in later photography. So okay, so let's get a good look at this. I'm gonna take this off the stand. So here is Suko number 1. We're gonna call this Suko number 1. We're gonna look at his paint. That's the whole thing. We're just looking at this paint. We're not moving joints just yet. We're just looking at paint. Got some nice weathering in the backside. A little bit of shading right here that's not consistent with this one right here. Same thing with the bottom leg. It looks like there's some shading there that's not consistent with this side as much. Oh, maybe it is. It's just a little twisted is all. Yeah. Some shading on the chest right there, the pecs. And we're going to look at our next one. This next Suko, this is our chill Suko. He chill like that. It's not bad. Paint's better on the backside down here. So the same weathering spot right there on the shoulders. I think this is more balanced between these. I think the other one, there was a little bit more brown on this shoulder, but this one's got a little, they both kind of match that weathering right there. Yeah, for as small as this figure, I agree. The fur is, even though it's so small, you can still see the fur right there. So, but that's our smug version of that, or neutral face, if you will. Let's take a look at, this one is our worried face. So here's our worried one. Why not? Let's see. We're gonna move that up. I know, I'm gonna see if I can just, off the top of my head, let's just see if we can get that pose. Sorry, got a little dust on that. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, that's fantastic. If you guys have seen the movie, you know what this is. Yeah. It's kind of funky in the joint area because of what they've done here. Instead of just a pointy elbow, it's kind of elongated like that. But holy cow, that allows for some really great articulation. Like Suko would definitely not be able to touch his face if it had been just a straight ball joint elbow system right there. But we'll get more into articulation in a bit. So I'm going to kind of reset this so we can go back to looking at it. So this guy right here, it seems like they all have this similar kind of thing where there's some shading right here on the belly part right there, right there. Shading's pretty good on this one on the back side too. Same thing on the back shoulders right there, arms. They look good. To be or not to be? Why do I make these decisions? Oh, I knocked off the hand right there. Well, let's see how this goes on camera. I knocked off a hand. Let's reattach that, see how that goes. I'm doing this while looking through the viewfinder, so bear with me. It doesn't make a snap sound, so I don't actually know if it's 100% connected, but it felt like it went in. Okay. And then lastly, let's look at Nightmare Fuel. Possession at a child's level. There we go. Oh, the roaring head. You are definitely the weakest of all of them. But ignore the head for a moment. Just look at the paint on the rest of the body. We're looking at consistency, variance. Looks good so far. I mean, honestly, the elbow pin. Somebody just wrote, you know, I wish that they had hid the elbow pins a little bit better. And I mean, they're really flush with the fur. I don't know if they're textured. No, they're just flat. If you really wanted to get creative with this, you could get some epoxy sculpt and maybe sculpt over on top of it to hide it. But honestly, it would just probably look like just giant bumps because you can see it's pretty flush with the sculpt right there. I know everybody's going to have their opinions on the pin joints, but I really do think the reason why they chose the pin joints is for articulation and sacrificing the sculpt so that you can get more fun out of this figure. I really do think that that's why they chose that. So, but yeah, there's our roaring head right there. Mist Zit, is that what it is? Have you ever thought of selling old giveaway figures? Well, I don't have duplicates of everything in my collection, so I have sold some of my duplicates in the past, but I don't generally publicize that when I sell these things. Like on my social media channels, I just generally throw them up on different websites, or I throw them up on OfferUp, or you know, in a server or something like that. I might make a post saying, "Hey, if you guys want to get this." I've kind of moved away from that. I don't really sell so much of the extras because I don't really buy a lot of extras to keep anymore. But these guys right here, well, as I mentioned earlier, if you are interested in picking up any of these sets from me directly after the stream, or after, not after the stream, but after the variance comparison, you can hit me up over DMs. One has already been claimed. I'm keeping one for myself, so there's only 2 available left. Okay, I'm going to bring up a different one. Let's kind of explore the articulation a little bit. So let's look at some articulation. We're going to use, which head should we use? Let's use the, you know what? I'm going to use this one right here because I really liked doing that with the, so let's just start with head. So head articulation, you know, one thing I like to do with my figures before I start moving them around is I heat treat them. Definitely use a hair dryer when you guys do this. Don't use a heat gun unless you're familiar with your heat gun and you know its limits. I use a heat gun because I like to get things done quickly, so definitely don't try this at home unless you're experienced with it. And this kind of just loosens up the joints. Doesn't need to be in there that long. Because that head out of the box, it was really stiff. So not too much up and down movement. Oh yeah, there we go. We just had to work it a little bit. So there's our looking up position. And then, you know, looking down. That's as far as it's going to go with looking down. Because Suko, unlike Kong Suko and Scar King Suko, does not have a neck joint. So the only movement you're going to get here is in the waist and the chest, the torso, with the head. So you're going to have to use all those and combine to get those looks. But twisting, you know, head can twist 360 degrees. So if you, well, maybe save that for the roaring head. The joint right here, so on a ball joint, so I'm not going to take it off, but you can turn around. Honestly, this looks really funky. Spread out. Oops, sorry about that. Let me just pop that back in there. It looks really funky because of that pin joint system. The elbow doesn't entirely look right, but yeah. So this whole thing, it can go slightly in, slightly out at the shoulder. You know, you got some side to side motion there. Actually, decent range. Look at that. You can go all the way back like that. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take this guy off. I have a viewfinder thing that kind of blocks out light. Let me take that off because I think that's kind of cutting down into light right there. Okay. Yeah, so some decent range actually on the shoulder. Holy cow! Look at that. That's fantastic. I love it. It was a little stiff at first, but now that I'm moving it around, you know, just so you guys can see. Yeah, look at that. So I can go back and forth there. Elbow joint, obviously pin joint. Obviously, you can do some things in here that normal elbows couldn't do, like that. Suko's got a damaged arm. Oh man. But yeah, no, but it posed the right way. It can definitely look. It looks a lot better, and you know that can go. It's like touching his head, like the head is in the way. Like if we move this back and push that there, like it's pretty much touching his back with the way that is. It's not bad. Wrist movement, it's on a ball joint. You can twist this 360 degrees, although it's probably going to fall off. Actually, look at that. It stayed on that time. How about that? You know, being on the way this is, you can pose it so that... Oh, that was a little too hard, though. You can pose it so that he's touching his face, just like in the movie when Scar King was coming out for the first time. Sorry, I can't do this well looking at the camera at the same time. I'm going to do this off camera. There we go. So, but yeah, you know, you can make him pose just like that. Holding his head, he's like, oh no. What have you done, Kong? You've summoned him. As far as the torso goes, you know, you've got, so hard to do this. So you can go left, right. Look at that. Some really side-to-side action like that. As far as crunch goes, it's not bad. Oh, we can go a little bit further. You just have to, yeah. So as far as an ab crunch goes, that's as far as that's going to go. Might be able to get a little bit more. I just need to play around with it because the way it works, it's like a sheath system back here. But yeah, torso can twist all the way around. Same thing with the mid torso. You can twist that all the way around. That's pretty cool. Oh, I didn't realize that a hand fell off again. We'll look at the accessories as soon as we're done looking through this guy right here. Last part is the leg articulation. So he can get some decent knee bend right there. Look at that. You know, I think there's some advantages sometimes to pin joints in this case right here. You can definitely get more expression out of this little small figure. I'd be concerned that the ball joints would just be limited because they would be hitting parts of the sculpt, specifically up in this area, and you wouldn't be able to get so much of a knee bend. You know, most figures like Kong, there's another joint right here, hold like a kneecap system, but because this figure's so small, it's just, you know, you go from thigh to calf like that. So I think this works. As ugly as it can look with the pin, I think it works for what they're trying to go, which is playability. You know, as far as the feet go, you know, they can up and down like that. Is that a pin joint on the foot too? I think it is. So I think it is. Let me take a closer look. Yes, it is. There's a pin joint for the foot. The way that these are connected, by the way, it's a pin hinge system here, but it's a ball joint in the knee. So it's kind of a hybrid setup. Same thing with the foot down here. It's a ball joint that goes into the ankle, but then it's a hinge into the actual foot itself. So that way you can still twist the foot, you know, 360 degrees. You can make him, look at that, Rockette. You can make that leg go 360. Look at that. It's pretty cool. So, yeah. So that is our basic Suko articulation movement right there. Pretty fun figure, actually. I can't wait to explore more of it in some photography. Again, like with that torso, like you can kind of like lift it up and then push it back down to get more movement. It's kind of interesting. I like that. So, not bad. Okay. All right. Let's look at. We're gonna look at the stand that it comes with. Let me just hook up another stand piece. If I can get this one out. So it comes with 2 stand attachments. Uh-oh, had some of the glove caught in there. So yeah, you have 2 different stand attachments. You've got one that's more elongated with a bigger arm. Oops. And then you've got this guy right here, which is more of a straight one. This one's just kind of, you can hook either of these up to it. So if you wanted to just have Suko stand on this stand with this, actually, you know what? We have 4 stands. Might as well just do it. Switch it up. Because you can mix and match the claw grip on any of these stands. They come off, pop right back in. Do note the hinges on this right here. It's just a plastic piece. It just goes in like that. It can pop right back out. So it's just by design. It's not a bad thing or anything like that. But there's no screws, in this bottom part. Actually, there's a piece of metal in this middle part, it looks like. Nope, there's not. Nope, no screws in this whole stand piece right here because the figure's so small, it doesn't need a stand. So, but here's our 4 different variations of this. So you've got you can kind of just mix and match that. So you can do the arm with the small claw right there, big claw with the arm, small claw with the stand part. I got mixed up actually with that. Let me put that back on there. 1 second. I thought I had all 4 of them there, but I realized I got mixed up when I was swapping the parts. There you go. So then you got the big one right here with the bigger part. So if you wanted to, you can take, your Suko here. So you can make him stand, have him stand right there with the straight stand. If you wanted to do more of a flying pose, let's use I'm going to just kind of pose this just up a little bit. Give me 1 second, everybody. So if you wanted to do more of an action pose with him flying in the air, you can. These grips, by the way, they don't move. So, and also because there's no. Yeah, so you can do them kind of like in a flying kind of pose. It's not really that long, honestly. You could probably just. This is compatible with a larger Tamashii Act stage, so you could take this, and if you wanted him to get higher, you can use one of those. It's honestly, it's not that. Because there's no screws to tighten this, it's only going to have so much range before it starts to dip. No, maybe it's fine. I think it just needs to be tight at the bottom because when you move this up, it can loosen at the bottom right there. So, but yeah, so that seems to hold him all right there. Yeah, see, it's already gotten loose at the bottom right there, so I gotta push it together. I'll hold them up. And then, so this is by the smaller piece. Let's hook this up to like a foot, for example. Actually, you know what? Before we do this, let's look at the instruction just to make sure we're hooking this up on the right spot. So if we look at the manual right here, they show you different ways to do the stand, right? So you can pose it that way, more this way. Okay, so it does look like we can hook it up around the ankle right there. So we're going to go ahead and try that. And I'm not going to use the larger one. Oop. Let's try this again. So let's do this. Get this on here. So it looks like it goes like right there in the meat of the calf. Yep, that's where the grip is. So yeah, you can get some, yeah, it's not bad. Hold them by the foot. This is the straight one, so you're not going to be able to move it, but it's probably more stable for this pose, honestly. Yeah, because you can tilt that backwards. Oh, it's starting to come off right there. As long as you push these parts together as you're moving this back, it should be able to hold that pose, even like that. It's just that when you rotate it down, it tends to loosen, so you just need to push it together. You probably need a weight on this too, because look at that, I'm letting go of it, and he's already falling backwards. So you probably want to weigh that down with something. That's as far back as it looks like it'll go before he's going to fall. So there's that. And then let's do one last one right here with the ankle. So you're going to hook this up. It's right below the calf is where the sweet spot is. And it'll fit in there. It's not going to go anywhere once when you got that on there. So let's do something a little bit more fun. I didn't heat treat these other ones, so you can see already it's having some difficulty there. Yeah, out of the box, it's really tight. Yeah, this one's really tight out of the box. I'm gonna have to loosen that one up. So, but yeah, so this one's got, more range. You can get it more angled. But again, you're gonna have to have that weighed down right there. I'm gonna try and recreate one of these other poses here. Actually, you know what? That'll be fine. So yeah, here's our stands of Sukos. I'm just looking at the chat really quick here. Okay. So there's all those. Let's go ahead and look at those accessories really quick. You know what? We're going to knock out the Kong heads right now, and then we'll get into the other ones because those are going to take a little bit more time to get through. So here's the Kong head with the silver tooth. It's the same roaring head as the that ships on the regular Kong. I feel like the teeth are sharper though on this one by comparison. I don't know if anybody knows this, but if you didn't know, well, hello there, Kaiju Raiden. Welcome joining us for this last minute stream. So I don't know if you guys noticed this, but on these figures right here with the roaring head, the tongue is actually on a ball joint. You can actually lift that up. You just need tweezers to move it around. But you can lift it up right there, get a little extra articulation. So, but yeah, this is the roaring head with the silver tooth right there. It looks really good. It's really, really sharp, at least on this one right here. We're going to look at the other ones in just a second. I'm going to try and get all these in the same shot. Ah. I'll try. I don't know if I can. Hold on. I know I can do this. Give me 1 second. I gotta jerry rig this so I can hold this up with both hands. Okay, here we go. Here's all 4 heads. Not bad. Can definitely see some variance on some of these heads, especially in the teeth. You know, the one on the far left right there's got some, this one's right, got some scuffs on the teeth right there. The rest are looking pretty clean though. They look good. Eye alignment. I know a lot of people like eye alignment. It's going to be kind of hard to tell because I can't get zoomed in more than this, but it looks all right. His eyes are so dark. I'll tell you what we can do. We can manipulate this and just kind of cheat. Because I don't know if all other people know this, but if you take a light, like a cell phone light, and you stick it on the back of Kong's head right there, his eyes will actually light up. There we go. Yeah, so if you didn't know that, you could do that. Light it up. I was hoping that maybe that could give us a better look at those eyes on the inside, but it's kind of hard to tell with this. I'll post, you guys can pay attention to the stream photos afterwards. I'll have better photos of the eye alignment right there. So, but for the most part, I'm just going to look at each one individually up close. Yeah, for the most part, all 4 of these, they look like the eye alignment's actually okay. Yeah, they all look good actually. Might be some slight offness between each one, but for the most part, I'm satisfied with it. All right, the Cyber Kaiju, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by. The white part right there, yeah, it's not so bad. It's about the same. Inside the back of the beard, very white on the bottom of it. The blending on the sides looks all right. I think I like the blending on this one better than this one. And then here's the other 2. Look at the sides like that. This one's got, probably out of all of them, not a lot of white beard. It's very minimal. So if you're a person that didn't really like the white beard in the first place, like, it's coated on the back, but if this would be the one to have if you didn't like that white beard to be all over the place. It's definitely more subtle on the sides of that one versus these guys right here. This is the way it's supposed to look, though. It's supposed to look more like this one. So yeah, maybe a little bit more on this side right here. Tops of the head. Yeah, this one's definitely, I kind of like this one actually, honestly. It's not so much of the white, but these also look okay too. So those are our Kong heads. Welcome, Yojira. Drippy Christ. Yeah. Late night stream. You know what? I have a day job and everything, and these came in on Thursday, and it's just the end of the work week. It's just hard for me to do an earlier stream, and I have other events going on this weekend, so I'm not able to show you guys a stream this weekend. So that's why I'm doing this now. And anybody that misses it, that's cool. It's fine. You guys can watch it later. Okay, so what we're gonna do to showcase the heads of these, they're so small. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna be taking off the heads of these guys. Let me get them posed in a way so that they're more about the same, more or less. I actually take it off. One of the things that the manual warns about when you're using these stands is just, you're doing it at your own risk. When you put this on there, it's such a tight grip that it could cause paint rub. So I think this is, by using a matte finish, it's much more secure than like a glossy finish. So definitely be very careful when you're doing this and applying it. If you really want to make it go smoothly, you could just heat up these plastic pieces so that there's a little bit more give when you put them on the leg. But otherwise, it's going to be a pretty tight fit. So I would recommend just being extra careful when you're putting it on the leg. Even on the chest part right here, even that. I mean, you risk chipping anytime you use a stand like this. Just got to be extra careful. That's all. That's just the name of the game with this kind of stuff. You got to be careful. So what I'm going to do, guys, is what we're going to be doing is we're going to go through all the Suko heads. So that's what I'm kind of setting this up for. I'm just kind of changing up the well, this one doesn't want to let go. There we go. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, having a Suko army is kind of fun for this brief moment. I wouldn't need so many Sukos, but hey, if you're wanting to recreate a certain scar scene, why not? Go for it. Get creative. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with the roaring head. We're gonna get that one over with first. Heads. I'm gonna try and organize these so that they're all the same heads. So, like I said, when you guys take this off, this ball joint's probably gonna get off to the side. You just need to center it before you pop it back in. Just like that. Pop it back in like that. Yep, it went off to the side. Get that more in the middle. Line it up. Pop it in. It's very satisfying hearing that pop sound there. All right, let's get that head off. Let's get this head off. Also, be careful, like when you're taking off the heads right there, you can also cause some paint scrapage right there too, depending on how you take it off, if you're really aggressive with it or not. Okay, so those are all those heads there. I'm trying to organize these heads so I can get through them all at the same time. And then we'll do the hands, and the hands are going to be very tricky because they're so small. Ooh, fists. Fists are very small. Okay, there's a roaring head. This is that head. This one. This one. Okay. We're going to just straighten out that joint there. Got that one connected. Hey, welcome, Horrorlight. Yes, I'll be doing 4 when it comes to the Godzilla figures. So expect a variance comparison of 4. So that way you guys can get a good idea, just a better idea of that paint variance that's going around. Versus just looking at one figure and, if it ends up being a bad paint job, it's more about just like, hey, look, one bad figure doesn't mean that they're all going to be bad. So why not? Let's just take a look at 4, and maybe it won't be so bad. It could. We don't know. Ooh, this one's a little lopsided right there. Okay, so what we're going to do is look at all 4 roaring heads here. So I think the biggest thing that you're going to see that's different about between all these heads is the thickness of the teeth paint, especially in the fang areas. The eyes look about the same. Yeah, not bad. Let's look at the other 2. I mean, there's no way around it. I still think that it's the weakest head of all of them. And as I mentioned before, it's really because of the fangs being just so big and thick like that. But I think it's because they had to do it this size just to pull out of the mold. I think if it was any smaller, they'd be non-existent. That's just my thoughts, though. I don't know the for real reason for that. But this one right here's got some smaller fangs, though. This one right here. The fangs are a little bit smaller in size. They're thinner, I should say. And I think that has to do with the paint job, too. The paint application's not as globbed on. Eyes look good, though, on all of them. I mean, as good as they're going to get. It's definitely, yeah. Yeah, so that's the roaring head right there. Let's look at the next ones. We're going to look at the head that's more of the sad head. Head, I mean, they come off really, really easily. It's not a lot of force or anything like that. You don't have to force it so bad. It just pops right off. And it definitely helps if you look ahead. Look before you put them together, because if you're trying to guess, it can be a little difficult. Let's do that. All right, so the next head is this is what I'm calling the sad face. I just like how the pupils are much bigger on all the rest of the heads. I think that really hurts the roaring head, that they're so small. But this looks good. I like this for the frowning face. Or not frowning face, sad face. Not bad. Paint in it. I'm pretty sure the paint is dot matrix on the face, specifically around the lips and the eyes and parts of the nose for dry brushing kind of effect. I think that'd be too difficult to do by hand, so I think it's dot matrix for that. No shading really with the transition between the ear. The ear just goes straight into the head right there. But I like the shading in the face. That seems pretty consistent. Let's look at these other 2. Not bad. Yeah, I mean, they're looking straight. I mean, if there is some slight offness, it's hard to tell in the stream, but I think it also depends, responding to Robo Lizard here, if they slanted his eyebrows, I think it would be much better. I think it also depends on the camera angle, too. So, if we were to angle the camera lower, and then looking up towards Suko, you get more, you can see much more of the eye, because there is that brow that's kind of sticking out right there. But we kind of have it angled looking down at him right now, so it doesn't show all, but much better that way. Wickhorn, I think I said that right. Wickhorn. Favorite head so far? I mean, yeah, so far. This is not a bad head. This is not a bad head. We're going to swap out, we're going to put on the neutral head right now. So let me just get these off. And we'll get this new, we'll get this is the more neutral, the neutral look. Yeah, that's the thing with the, I keep thinking to myself, man, if so many accessories and the stream is just going a lot longer because of that versus a bare bone figure. So thank you for being patient to everybody that's watching, listening. All right. So here is, this is more of the head that, like I said, it's more of a neutral face. Let me bring these two guys into frame. Not bad. Blending looks good. The eyes look straight. Let's take a look at the other two. I know this one looks like he's looking up in the air. It's because of the way I have it posed. He looks like he's looking up in the air. I promise you, he's not. See? Looked like he was a little dirt face, but he was just looking more up into the sky. Yeah, so it's not bad. I think this one is my favorite head. And then the one that we just looked at, the sad face, that one's my second favorite so far. All right, let's take another one right here. Yeah. All right. So let's we're gonna put on the last head. This one is the scared face. This is the one that I associate when Scar King is about to come out, and he's like, "Oh no, what did you do, Kong? Why you just summoned him, man? That's my dad, and he coming to get us." If he is his dad, probably is. We're not gonna get into the semantics of that. I got on there? No, almost. Oh, no. Okay, hold on. I gotta do this one off camera. Get this on there. It's hard to do it with the, depending on which stand is in the way. There we go. So there's that one there. Just gonna take these off now. There we go. Put this back on like that. We'll look at questions if we have any questions. While I'm doing this, guys, feel free to ask questions. This is a good time to do it when I'm in the middle of transitioning and stuff like this. All right. Okay, let's look at the next heads right here. So this is our scared head. I angled them a little differently so you can guys kind of get a different view. There's a little line of, there's no sculpted teeth in there, but it's just a solid white line. If you wanted to get in there with a detail pen, a small detail pen. You could probably try that. I don't know if that would make it better, but honestly, I think it looks good the way it is. It's not bad. The shading looks really good on these guys too. Maybe a little bit darker on this one, but it looks good. Let's look at the other two. Again, if it looks like he's looking up in the air, it's because of the way I have it posed. That, you know, the head could look more down. Yeah. So, not bad. Those are the heads there. Okay. Now for the fun part. Now we're going to get into the hands. These hands are so tiny. Like, I can barely hold it in the frame. Yeah, they're really tiny. So rather than showcasing each hand, they're just hand parts. What we're going to do is I'm going to just put on hands, different hands on each figure. There's 4 different hands, or actually, sorry, there are, let's see here, we got 1. Let me organize this by right and left side so I can just make sure that we have the right type of hands. So for pointing fingers, there is a left and right pointer finger. There are a left and right fist. And then we have left and right that's not as open as these ones. They're kind of meant to hold like the axe, like Kong's axe. These are kind of more open-handed. So I'm gonna keep this one the way it is with the open hands. And I'll swap these guys out. So let's just do one at a time. Yeah, we're still going, Mike. Yeah. You know, I was mentioning earlier when there's a lot of accessories in there, there's a lot to go over with versus just the figure by itself. So, yeah, we're almost done though. We're going to go through the hands right now, and then we're going to go look at Mothra's articulation, and then we are going to call it a night after that. With the GXK, Robo Lizard says, with the GXK cast fully out now in Monster Arts, the heart logo's blocking it. Who has been your favorite or most surprising, unique for the collection? You know what? I need more time with these guys, the new set right here, before I can give an answer on that. But so far, I think I really like Shimo for its articulation for a quadruped. It's really, really good. Evolved Godzilla is a lot of fun. I don't want to get too much into the ranking just yet, but the way it is going so far is I'm liking Godzilla, Evolved, and Shimo the best so far. Kong is a recycled thing. There's nothing new offered to the table other than just paint. So I think Kong is actually maybe the bottom of my list, but we'll see how Mothra and Suko are. Anyways, let me get these hands swapped out right here. Hands are very simple to swap out. They're very small. Just pull up. Just be very mindful, guys. They are on ball joints. You don't want to pull too hard. You don't want to rip out the joint. I will say this, it doesn't look like, for some of the wrist joints on Monster Arts, they kind of have that half swivel kind of thing in the ball joint. On Suko, it's just a straight ball joint. So no hinge or anything like that. So the hands I'm putting on right now, these are the ones that would hold the axe. I'm going to see about getting the axe out of my bins, and then we can test that out. And then these guy right here, we're going to swap that hand out with, these are going to be the fists. The fists of rage. These don't make any snapping sounds when you're putting them on, so you just kind of have to just push them on and squish them together and hope it works. Oop, almost lost that one. Let's see here. That looks good on that. So there's our fist one, and then the last one right here. One left to go. These are going to be the pointing. Go. Pointing is there. Spider-Man meme, anybody? It's kind of cool that they have the fingers there. Okay. Okay, so we've got them all on. Let's take a closer look. So we've seen a lot of this one already. This one, let me move these guys out of the way so that there's no focus issues. So yeah, so this one is the more open hand. There's no grip or anything like that. It's just flat palms kind of thing. Standard, this is what ships in the box, what he's got on him. Then we've got, I'll save that one for last. That's the closed hand one. We're going to look at the fists right here. So here's the fists. These are the smallest accessory part for the figure. Let me see if we can get this posed, because you can get him posed so that he's kind of walking more of like a traditional chimp kind of thing. Yeah, you can definitely look up a little more than that. So is this the one that needed heat treatment? I think it is. Oh wait, no, I just need to twist that. I'm trying to get it in more of a there we go. Maybe instead of doing the walking pose, I'll just do more of like a beat in the chest. Yeah, that's not bad. They're very small. They're very small. But these are like, you know, punching. You can use it to punch. More of a punch pose. Or walking on the knuckles. I gotta get used to this because this is a pin joint system, right? So the thing about the pin joint system is that you can't rotate these elbows, right? You have to rotate it at the forearm to get it to be posed in a certain way. So that is a challenge right there if you're trying to get in a certain pose. But I think it works fine for the most part, yeah. So you can definitely get him like that, and let's see if we can get him. See if we can get him more like this. Yeah, I need more time with this figure to really get used to the pose, but get that leg up there. This one more out, this one more back. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I mean, Suko's got some unique articulation there. So there we go. That's more like probably what you guys were hoping to see more. You don't need a stand for this pose. It's interesting because the manual has this kind of pose there. So yeah, you can do, like, he can just be like, rah, you know. I like the fists. I'm being inspired right now with some certain photography shots. Monkey bum, watch out. So there's that. And then the last hands, we got this guy. Pointing the fingers and everything. So let me move this guy out of the way. Pointing fingers. They look great. They're on both sides. Yeah. They're not bad. All right, so that's all. Like I said, we're not going to go into the variants of the hands right here. We'll save that for photography. But here is our team of Suko. We don't, I know some people might have asked, does it need a stand to stand on its own? The idea of the stand is for long-term posing. I'm sure that you will be able to pose Suko standing just fine. Let's see if we can do that here really quick without a stand. It's all about balance, you know, and patience. You have to find the sweet spot when you're posing. Yeah. Does Suko need a stand? To stand? No, probably not. You'd probably be okay without it for the most part. These are just for long-term displays or stuff that's more dynamic if you want to use the stands. But he could definitely stand on his own. So those are all 4 Sukos. They look great. I mean, honestly, they look just like they were in the promo photos. I don't think there's anything too different from that. I think if you wanted to do anything customizing, if you wanted to take it a step further with these figures, you can definitely do that with some black wash onto the fur to bring out those details, because there is a lot of detail there. All right, let me get, we're going to go over Mothra now. So let me get these guys out of the way. I got a light that just went out. Give me 1 second. I'm going to change this light. Okay, now we're going to take a look at Mothra. Specifically the articulation with Mothra. That's what we're going to be looking at right now. So I'm going to take these off of the stand part. Okay, so with Mothra, much less articulation going on this time around compared to Suko. I mean, you've got your wing articulation right here. It's on a ball joint, so you can swivel, you can twist, you can turn. It doesn't look like there's any extra paint in there, so it's not a problem. You got some good range there. Don't do what I'm doing, by the way. Don't ever grab by the edge and do it. Always, if you want to be safe with your figures, grab it by the base and articulate from there. That way you don't end up bending the wing or anything like that. But bottom one also twists. Gotta love that gold right there on the rim of the wing. That's pretty cool. It's brown on this part with a little gold tip. And the bottom ones are gold all the way through. I don't know. I kind of wish that it was all the way gold all the way through on the rim right there. But yeah, so let's get these guys posed up as far as we can. Looks like, you know what? I didn't heat treat this guy. Give me 1 second. Again, if you heat treat your figures, know what you're doing if you're going to use a heat gun. Otherwise, use a hairdryer. All right, we loosened up those wings there so we can get a little bit more range. The sculpt is going to, if I go any further than this, that ball joint is going to pop right out. So as far as the wings go, upwards, you know, that's as good as it's going to get right there. Oh, thank you. I see that the camera died. Give me 1 second. We'll be right back. I'm still connected. These cameras have an auto power off function when they get too hot, so we'll be right back in just a second. There we go. All right, so we're back. So yeah, as far as the wings go, you know, you can try to move it up as high as you can. Like I can already feel the wing already starting to pop out, the ball joint right there. I don't want it to pop out, so I'm going to push that back down just a little bit. But that's as high as those wings are going to go, upwards. It's really beautiful. I really love the wing decals that they use this time around. This is nice. These bottom parts right here, you know, they're so small, and you can flip these around just about any direction, you know. Flip them all the way upside down. Again, it's just a ball joint, so it's very simple. If you keep them like this, that's more accurate to how it's supposed to go. But you can, you know, you can make her wings. Look at that. We can do more. Oh, I popped it out right there. That was my bad. Well, now you can get a closer look. It's just a ball joint. That's all it is. You can just stick it back in there. There we go. And it popped right back in, no issues. What I was trying to do when it popped out, I was trying to see if I can make it go further back, but it looks like it will not go further back. It will pop out. So that's as far back as that will go. I just accidentally knocked out a leg. Same thing with the legs. It's just a little ball joint. So just be careful when you guys are using these. The way that the manual wants you to do it, they don't want you to grab it by the tip like this and move it. They want you to grab it by the elbow and move it. And so you can see that a little bit better. So it can go up and it can go down. You can go in and out. You know, it can twist though all the way. It's just a ball joint, so you can get some different types of poses right there. Let me just get this other leg popped back in there. I'm gonna have to take this off camera because it's too far away. The wings are much better than before. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is a bummer. You know, if you don't know the story, the King of the Monsters, you know, production was changing stuff all the way until like the last month before the movie was actually released. So being a toy line that was trying to be producing stuff that needed to go out in time for the movie, they had to cut their deadline, so they weren't able to use final sources or anything like that. So that's why King of the Monsters Mothra looks the way it looks. It was highly based off of concept art, and it was hand sculpted. This figure is also hand sculpted. It's the same one. There's no CGI data when it comes to using for the body sculpt or anything. This is all hand sculpted. Same thing for Shimo, Suko, and Scar King, and Kong. Those are all hand sculpted in the line, and they're based off of various 2D reference materials in the movie. And it wasn't just MonsterArts for the 2019 Mothra either. There was other Mothras that came out around the same time, and they also had very different wing patterns. Even the NECA figure had different wing pattern on there. I don't even think Haya's is 100% accurate either in that respect, but it is much more accurate than the rest that I've seen though. Let's look at more of this leg articulation. So like I said, they want you to move it more at the base. Let me move that out of the way. I'm trying to get that so you guys can see it. So yeah, so that arm goes up and down. You can twist it further if you wanted to. I'm just trying to be extra careful with it. So you can make it go touch all the way back to the wing. Make sure you just do it by the elbow. So she can lift it all the way up. These guys right here, they don't really move up. Oh, I guess they do. Look at that. They do move up and down. So that's a neat little extra there. I think the original one, the 2019 Mothra, didn't maybe move that well, but this moves pretty well actually for the middle ones. Let me get my reflector on the ground right here because there we go. This will help you guys see it a little bit better. The legs, they're splayed. They can, let me just get this from the front view right here. So the legs, if you bend it, move it by the knee area when you do this, you know, you can get, they don't have to be splayed out, you know, you can get them close together. You can even rotate them so that they're more up in the air. I mean, they go 360, they're a ball joint. Well, as 360 as, I mean, look at that. You can touch her back just like that with them. They're just on a simple joint. So you can make it go far back like that. And like I said, you can make it go in and out towards the abdomen, towards away from the abdomen there. I gotta say though, these do feel a lot better than the 2019 figure. They do feel a lot better in hand. And then lastly, no articulation in the head. The head is just sculpted onto the main body right there. But you do have this wonderful ab crunch. And you know, you can make it go all the way out like that. You can make it go all the way in for that stinger pose. So for example, you can have her look straight. Let's do that. And then if we bend it down, you can get pretty far down like that. Not all the way to the 90 degrees, pretty close though. You can also twist, you know, at the abdomen. So if you wanted a little bit more of a dynamic, it is just on ball joint, so you can twist that as much as you want there, all the way around. That's pretty cool. It's a mess because I was holding it. Oh, what a mess that is. But you know what? It can be posed back in there. You know, and I will say this: the more you move these around, the looser that connection is going to get over time. So invest in what I call the solution. It's called Kiki Fix. Let me grab that actually really quick. I'll show you guys what it looks like. If you guys, every collector should have this that deals with figures with ball joints or anything like that. Get this solution. It is called Kiki Fix. Kiki Fix loose joints. This stuff is amazing. It is essentially just a watered down glue, and you can use this to apply to joints that are really loose out of the box, or over time if it's been sitting on your shelf and it just gets loose after some while, and it will tighten them up just nice and easy without damaging the figure. It's a wonderful thing. You can get this on Amazon. I actually have a link in the description of this video, so if you guys want to get that, or I say Amazon, I'm at eBay. It's only on eBay. It's sold by somebody in Thailand, and that's the only way you can get the legitimate. There's a lot of knockoffs out there, but this one is the one that works the best. Yeah, so Wickhorn over there says he didn't know I had an ab crunch. I think that's what sets it apart from many other Mothra figures, is that and this is for as small as it is, you know, it's got that, let's see if I can get a little bit closer. It's got that ab crunch right there. So you can get that dynamic pose out of it. And like I said, you can twist this left and right. So, but I mean, with this one right here, I'm relatively moving this all right. And things, the wings are moving, like, look at that. That's not popping out. I can tell you this, my 2019 figure, the bottom ones, over time, they've loosened up quite a bit, so they don't stay in so well. I need to Kiki Fix those. But this is, oh, there we go. Working it out. Pretty solid, though. I mean, you hear that. I don't know if you could hear it, but it popped in there pretty tight, so. But let's see if there's any other range that we can get out of these wings here. Oops. Yeah, well, these bottom wings, doesn't look like the range stops about right there. So as far as going downwards go, that's kind of it. Because if you go any further than that, you can already see it's popping out of the joint. Yeah, it's already out right there. So you can't go that far downwards. Yeah, see, you go too far down that way, they'll pop right out. You can get definitely up. So just to show you guys the range again, it's this much. That's as far as it goes, up in the downward. Same thing with this one, 360. You know, you can go, and then flapping, same thing. Oops, I keep putting my thumb on top of the legs, and they makes them fall out like that. So, but yeah. So the articulation so far, I think it's generally improved by comparison to the 2019 figure. I think it's, and when I say improved, I just think it's just improved with the joint tolerance there. There we go. Sorry, I had to do this off camera because it's hard to lean over the camera and fix this stuff at the same time. So, but there's that. I have cats in here. Sometimes cat hair gets on this stuff. So, but yeah, overall, I'm pretty impressed with this. I'm going to go ahead and bring out the other 2019 Mothra for comparison here. So give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. After we do this comparison, we'll compare it with the rest of the GXK lineup with all of them in the same shot, and then we're going to wrap it up. All right, so here is the 2019 figure. Like I said earlier, okay, so the stand is the same. There's no changes to the stand. I thought it was different. It's not. It's the same. It looks like the connection. Let me take this off really quick. The grip is a lot better on the new one. So, but it's the same design. There's no change. Very much the same. I have these extra buildings, so I use these guys right here in the display, because those big flat stands, when you have so many of these figures all at once, it's takes up a lot of room with these big flat stands like this sometimes. So I use from the building sets that they did back then. I use those. All right, let me get the camera moved up here for y'all. So here's 2019. Yeah, it's definitely a lot looser on this one. I need to do some kiki fix. It's been a while since I've taken this one out and posed it. Okay. So there's your 2019 figure right there. You can see the major color differences. It's night and day between the two. I don't know, which one do you guys like better? Do you like the way the 2019 looks? Or do you like the new one? Personally, huge fan of the new one. I think it's hands down way better than the 2019 figure. There's no contest on that right there. If you're going to compare something that was just solely based on the concept art versus, you know, the pattern that you see from the wing, even if the body's not 100% accurate with its sculpting, I think that the 2024 Mothra is definitely better looking than the 2019 figure there. Let's get this. I had to light that one out. Let me plug that back in. We're back. Yeah, the new one is definitely the tiny yoke, which I'm afraid of breaking. Yeah, so yeah, if you ever get the hold of the classic effect sets, you can use this building right here. They have little holes on top, and you can plug those in and put those into your display, and you can get more of a dynamic scene out of all that. So, but yeah, let's look at the back side of these guys. Let me bring my camera up a little bit higher since these guys are on the higher end of things. Let's bring this up. Matte finish for the 2019 figure and a glossy finish for the 2024 Mothra. But yeah, you can see, look at just the difference in design. Like, you can definitely tell that this is based off of concept art versus something that actually was in the movie. It's just very beautiful looking. I love it. Even the body coloration is just a significant improvement. Granted, Mothra does look a little bit different in the 2024 movie, but it's just, let's get as close as we can there. And yeah, focus. Yeah, just a huge difference between the coloration. Yeah, I think to answer to, I was looking back at the comments here for Robo Lizard. Some of the 2019 figures had extra paint in the sockets right there, so it prevented them from moving that well. So, but at least I'm not detecting that in the new one. So, let's see if we can get that. Trying to get these so that they don't collide with each other. Not bad. 2019 has its charm for some things, but it just doesn't do it for me. It doesn't spark joy, not compared to this one. So overall, definitely 2024 Mothra is definitely the better figure compared to them, especially with the paint and everything. So, and for people's reference, when Rodan and Mothra were packaged together, I think it was $105. Yeah, $105 MSRP. Suko and Mothra, $90 MSRP. And it's not just because of the figures, because of how many little accessories that they come with. That's why this pack is the way it is. But if you break it down between these figures, they're about, what, $45 each. So if you were to buy them individually, that's what they would charge. They would not charge a $20 for Suko because of how many extras effects it comes with. Mothra, same thing. They'd charge $45 easily for this. So having them as a 2-pack, $90, I think it's a pretty good deal. Okay, the last thing that we're going to do, let's do some scale comparison. I'm going to swap out the Kong head too, so we can get in there. So we've got Mothra. We're going to get Suko in there. Let's get Shimo in there. It's so big. We're going to get Godzilla in there too. And we'll put on the new head to Kong. That's the thing with these monkeys. They don't have an extra support, so we'll cheat and have Godzilla hold him up a little bit. And then there's Suko next to Kong. So there is the entire cast. Let me lower the camera a little bit. So there they are, everybody together all in one shot. Let me move these guys out of the way. I'm gonna bring that down. Yeah, see, Shimo has got that reflective coating right there, so she's gonna come up a little hot on the pictures. But there's everybody, all in the shot. So there it is, the complete set. If you end up getting this, all 4 of them, I mean, here's the thing. If you're into Monster Arts and you're gonna buy all Monster Arts or a lot of the Monster Arts, you're already spending over $500 or $400 or $500 in 1 year, right? Oh yeah, you know what? I forgot Scar King. So, but yeah, to have the whole collection, it's a pretty penny, that's for sure. I'm gonna get Scar King right next to. There we go. Now we have everybody. Can't believe I forgot him. So there it is. Yeah, now we have the complete cast. I'm gonna have to move the camera back just a smidge more. So I think when it comes to scaling between all of them, I think every figure looks good here. Scar King is definitely larger than it's supposed to be. If you like that, that's great. If you don't, sorry. That's just kind of how production met with this, and this is what they thought he would look like, and maybe they were giving different specs at the time. Maybe he was supposed to be taller. I think I actually read he was supposed to be taller at one point. I don't know if that's fan theory or confirmed or not, but get him right next to Shimo. That's more of an accurate representation there. So, but yeah, they all look good. They all look great together. That's what I like about the set. It all looks good. Like I said, Scar King is a little bit taller than it should be, but everybody else looks great in the shot. Squad goals, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. So, I need more time with Suko and Mothra. Mothra is pretty much the same, just a better tolerance as the 2019 figure. So I kind of have my mind made up for that figure. Suko, I need a little bit more time with those joints, the pin joints, getting used to how that moves. He's rather stiff out of the box, so it needs to be heat treated to get more range going out of that box. But I dig them all. I'm going to have a lot of fun with some photography with Suko, so please look forward to more of that. Yeah, you know what? You're right. You know what? Yes, you're right. I just read this comment over here by Monica Zpaz. Poor 2024 Godzilla, always left out of the family photos. Man, I tell you what, I think out of all the figures, that is my least favorite when it comes to the GXK lineup, because it really is just, it's a repaint. There's nothing new added to it. And personally, I don't like it, this repaint. I don't think the colors are accurate to anything we've ever seen in any of the movies. I'm going to try and dig that one out just so we can have it in the shot. I just need to remember which shelf I put it on. I have so many shelves. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah. Good point. We'll include it just because. There we go. A little bit better, right? Yeah. I just don't like how dark it is. That's the only thing. Yeah. I mean, it's an okay figure. I mean, if you didn't have any of the legendary Godzillas on the market, you have a base one to go with right here. This is really meant for those people that just don't have it. You can grab it, right? So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the paint on the dorsals. It's different from the rest of them. I don't think it's accurate by any means. It's definitely a case where Bandai is like, okay, well, we've done the base form already. We don't want to do a repeat of the base form, so we're just going to change it up a little bit, right? So that is probably the main reason why it looks the way it looks. But other than that, man, I have to move my camera further back to get the whole cast of there. There. Ignore the Suko heads. I'm running out of room on the table there. So yeah, there's everybody, right? They're all there. Somebody's doing the celebration icon emojis. Thank you. I did that for you. But yeah, so that is it. I'm gonna wrap up right now. Do you guys? I'm gonna give it like open it up to questions. Any questions about the lineup so far? What you're seeing right here? So RoboLizard writes, although someone mentioned the 2019 reissues can have different heads, is that true? Like 2019 GVK and GXK have different heads in a small way or something? The heads between those two are the same. They're the same sculpt. They're the same mold that's used at the Vietnam factory. The only one that is different is the original 2019 figure and the poster version of 2019 figure. After that, the head, it's not that the head sculpt changed. There was a mold change is what they did. The mold changed and it was sent to Vietnam, and that's where those figures came from. I know on Burning Godzilla 2019 and the other one it says it's made in China, that's where the mold change happened. But then these were sent to Vietnam for the GVK and the GXK figure. So, but the mold changed. That's the story. The mold changed. It's not degradation, because if it was degradation, it would look so horrible after every single figure. But these steel molds, they're designed to endure so much production, and it's not mold degradation. It's I promise you guys, there's an actual factual mold change, even on the arms and the legs where they connect. It's just changed slightly in parts where they connect, and that's why the 2021 figure and more and beyond can move better than the original 2019 figure. So that's the story on those. Any other questions before we jump off? Yeah, there's some people out there that, yeah, RoboLizard interesting, didn't know that. Yeah, it's published in certain areas, like I think you can find it in my interviews. I think you can find it in my reviews where I talk about it as well. But that's where you can find that information, where these changes happened. They all look good. They all look good next to everybody, except for that Godzilla 2024 figure. It's really the bottom of my list if I had to pick them. If I'm just going by looks, my list would be, starting at the bottom, it would be the 2024 Godzilla, and then it would be I would say Kong 2024, and then I would go Scar King, and then I'd say Mothra, Shimo, and then Evolved Godzilla. Suko is kind of like in the middle of. I'd say he's right after Scar King, or maybe before. I need more time with him, like I said. But when it comes with looks, I think the Suko figure actually looks better than the Scar King figure when you are trying to say if it's accurate or not. Man, look at that. And because Scar King is so much bigger, it's kind of actually really scary. So far, not counting the Mothra and Suko set so far, I would say that my favorite is the Evolved Godzilla. I do enjoy that the most out of all of them. And I think my second favorite is going to be S.H.MO. S.H.MO is a lot of fun to pose. And then when I find out how I feel about Suko and Mothra more, I'll be able to answer those later. So, okay. One more question, and then we're wrapping it up. Yeah, to each their own. Regarding the, I'm assuming you're talking about the evolve. Oh, for Scar King. Yeah. Yeah. So with Scar King, unfortunate happenstance of production versus movie production timeline with, toy production. There was a guess of what it would look like based off of some promotional materials, and that's just what the sculptor came out with. And I think that, say, if another version of Scar King would come out in the future, like how they did the event exclusive Kong, if there was an event exclusive Scar King, I think that we would get a couple more expressions, maybe one or two more, now that the movie's been released. So, but yeah. All right, everybody. That is it for us tonight. Thank you for joining the stream. Truly appreciate everybody joining this last minute stream. Like I said, I wanted to originally do this at a more productive time during the daytime, but I have plans this weekend and I just wanted to get this out. So anybody that wants to watch it later, the stream will be up later in full, hopefully a higher quality version because I am recording it on the desktop. So we'll be uploading that one. Thank you so much for joining us again. This is the Articulation series with the cast of GXK finally completed in the S.H.MonsterArts line. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a good night.